up, y'all? It's me, Erica, and we are down here. Peace, y'all. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Nothing. What's up, everybody? It's me, Erica. Honey, you are lucky. We are getting a video. Honey, sorry about the haunted story, horror story night. Honey, your girl had too many edibles and it was lights out for your girl. So that's what was happening last night. I look a mess today and it's going to be okay. So go ahead and like, subscribe, and comment and let them even know you stopped by. Hopefully my lips stay moisturized. This is your Love and Marriage Huntsville review. How do we start off? Kimmy and Maurice, they're going to look at land. A spec house. I guess Kimmy thought that it was going to be their dream home that they were going to build here. And he was like, I want more land. And then he tells her, this is your next step in your real estate journey. And then he starts telling her how he's talked to Martell. And she was like, how are you going to talk to Martell? He doesn't even have his builder's license. Oh, let's see. Here we go. And she was like, you've picked all the people and made all the decisions, and then you're going to give me the job to do, and then kind of like wash your hands of it, and then tell me that something else requires your attention, and you're just going to plop everything in my lap. And like in her interview, she was like, he's made all these decisions without me. I'm not surprised. I don't know. I mean, at this point, I don't know. I think Kimmy knows what she has in Maurice. She's smart. The only thing you can do is try to communicate what you don't like that he's doing. You understand what I'm saying? It's just like she told him, it seems like you get all the stuff together and then you plop it in my lap and make it seem like, I guess, you need to execute it. Basically, you need to execute all of this, and that's your part in it, but you don't get to make any of the decisions along the way. And she doesn't like that. And she wasn't even clear that that wasn't going to be the land for their quote unquote dream home, because he wants more land. So it's just more miscommunication. And like she said in the interview, they just need to communicate. And then it's crazy because she goes, he needs to communicate what plans he has for me. And I was like, okay. Then he asked her to pick up the son from practice, and that was something that he said he was going to do. And I mean, I don't know what to say. That's your husband. That's how he is. He's going to continue to do it. All you can do is continue to voice your grievances and express how you feel, and I don't know what else. Communicate better what plans you have for me. I don't know what else to say. Martell and his mom, they're having a conversation. They're at the house, Martell's mother's house. Don't want to learn how to do too much. Oh, okay. They were combing the little girl's hair, and I guess Martell feels like there are some things that he doesn't want to learn how to do because he feels like a woman should do that. There are some things that a woman should do. Can you imagine? That is so wild. Just by thinking that, like, when you think about like so many children who only have like one parent homes, and you think about like there are some things that you feel like you don't want to, like, I thought it was weird for him to say some things I don't want to learn how to do because I feel like a woman should show her how to do that. So I'm thinking like, you don't want to learn how to comb your daughter's hair because you feel like a woman should do it. I don't understand. I just don't understand. It's like, they're so chauvinistic. It's so weird. It is so weird. And it's like they really, really think like that. Like, even just thinking about Maurice just making all these decisions and then being like, okay, here you go, execute it. It's like, I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I should be on the side of a candle. Get into it. Okay, anyway, so they're talking about the depression and the mother saying that Martell has a lot on his plate, and he says he thinks he could use a little guidance and some therapy. And the mother, of course, she says, you can be your own therapist. You just need to slow down. And, I don't mean to say anything. I don't mean any harm, but, things happen for a reason. He said him and Melody need to get on the same page. Melody need to get on the same page. And then the mother mentions that, he was doing a lot, I guess, in the relationship. And that she did not like the way that Melody kind of was bossing him around. I guess that's what I got from the way that she was like telling Martell what to do. And when we first were introduced to them, it was clear that it looked a lot like Martell was doing a lot, like Martell was the quote unquote dominant parent. It looked like that. And so I guess she didn't like the way that Melody used to boss him around. I didn't like that. I didn't like that. It's like, when it's so funny because it's like, it's so typical. It's like, as long as you like her, I like her. When you don't like her anymore, I'm gonna say everything I want to say about Melody. You know what I'm saying? That shit is crazy. Um, so what, you got somebody pregnant? That don't have nothing to do with me. What did she say? I ain't gonna lose no sleep over it. I was like, oh, okay. And then he started talking about the kids knowing the song, and him and Melody got into an argument about that. And then he says that the son, Martell's mother was like, Tank, that's what they call the little boy. He asked me about the song and said my mom was singing the song. And then she said, oh, baby, she's just singing about your daddy. Martell was like, what? So Martell was going off on Melody about it when it was actually his own mother. And she was like, well, she shouldn't allow that anyway. So she tried to flip it and put it back on Melody. And you need to take it up with her, girl. So he invites his mom to the charity race. The Destiny race or whatever. Yeah, the Destiny race for charity. Like I said, when they're not together anymore, you could see how she feels about, because nobody's going to like anybody 100%, but now she's letting you know how she feels about Melody easier. We'll talk about what she did later, but now all of a sudden, this is the reason why it's like, it's like what she did. It's just like a culmination of this, like, I don't know. It was weird. I felt like it was like a child, and his mom coming up and talking to the girls who were messing with her little boy and getting them together. It was very weird. And the way he ran away and ran to the other side. I was like, oh, okay, that was weird. But then it was just like, it was like a snapshot, like a Polaroid snapshot of, here is what it looks like when a mother kind of like placates to the son's misbehavior and then kind of backs him up, and then he sneaks off, laughing while his mom directs her energy to who doesn't deserve it. Like that energy should be, oh, don't mess with my boy. And it's like you have your bodyguard, and it was like exactly every single like textbook like image of what that looked like was just like played out in that scene. Even when we'll go back to it. So Maurice and Martell and Marceau are supposed to be meeting Dr. Francis. Marceau is late and they call him trying to figure out where he is. And he tells them, he answers on FaceTime and he tells them that he's not really he's not into it. But then he says that in his interview that Dr. Francis is someone who means well and, someone that can listen and give feedback. But I think it's more geared towards women or females. He said females. He didn't say women. He said females and men who think like females. And to me, it's just, again, another snapshot of like this idea that it's kind of dismissive. Like you don't feel that this person clearly isn't good enough for you. And he's more suited to speak to women or men who think like women. And it's not, there's no way around it. It is an attempt to insult Dr. Francis, and it's an attempt to insult anybody that goes and sees him. And it's really fucking weird that he is like that. It's unfortunate because the meeting that they had with Dr. Francis was really good. And I thought to myself, he probably would have benefited from that. And it's odd to believe that like a man who clearly sees that or believes that a man's word has a little bit more weight than a woman's word. And in order to diminish a man and his work and his professional, what he does, like Dr. Francis is not, he's a therapist. You know what I'm saying? It's like, and to diminish that in a way, but to use it like he's more suited for women and men who think like women. It's just really weird. It is fucking weird. He says, Maurice says that, when his brother said that he was depressed, that he kind of identified with that. And I'm not sure. I thought it was weird that he said that he was a high achiever, and are we just, used to being under constant stress? And then Dr. Francis picked up that he used the words like he's dealing with things, or the way to deal with them is to escape. And then he says, is it the way that it is? And then Dr. Francis says something about it being a maze that you get yourself into. You can't find your way outside of that. And then he says, and some people like that. That's why I was like, dang, see, that's it. There's some people who feel like they thrive in that stressful environment, and they feel like they're getting things accomplished by being stressed out. And there are just some people who like that. And he says, and if you don't like it, then you will change it. And again, you cannot take someone to therapy in the hopes of changing them when they don't even see that they're doing anything wrong, right? And it's like, you can't, like Marceau going to even see Dr. Francis, he doesn't think that there's anything wrong with what he's doing. He feels like being high stress is just like, that's just the, the pitfalls of being an overachiever. This is how it has to be. And it's like, you don't have to be stressed out in order to get things done. It's like, you just have to reframe the way you've been taught how to perform these behaviors, because they're not healthy. They're not healthy. And if you don't think that there's anything wrong with that, and you continue to do that, that's why these men are in their 60s having heart attacks and things like that, because you're trying to do this. I don't know what it is that you're trying to do or trying to prove. I don't understand it. But acting like that is not, it's just not healthy. It is just not healthy. He said something about, I have this vision of the future guy and the future guy, but when I get married, she's not. And then he's like trying to figure out how to make his marriage and his wife the scapegoat for him. You did this. Didn't nobody do this? You did. And I'm so glad that Dr. Francis was like, stop trying to blame your wife. You created this competition. You have this entrepreneurial mindset, and then you have a marriage, and you're trying to act like one is asking of you too much of the other, and you're acting like it's competing, and it's not. You don't have to. You need to learn how to prioritize and what's more important, and it should be your marriage. It should be your marriage, and you shouldn't act like they're two competing things in a way that you try to like literally blame Kimmy. That was so crazy that he did that. And it was like, he was like looking for a way to like figure out how to make like, oh my God, my wife is like putting me through so much and she's not cooperating, or whatever it is that he was trying to do. And Dr. Francis was like, no, you're not about to blame your wife. You did that. You're so involved in work that you have two wives and you're creating competing interests. His job is his wife. And for him, I guess that was a light bulb for him. He says, and just make sure that, that you trying to be successful in entrepreneurship does not impact your marriage. And then Martell, he was like, in his interview, he was like, yeah, it was really good what Dr. Francis was saying. And Melody needs to hear this. I was like, I said, did he just say that Melody needs to hear this? You need to get your builder's license. Let's work on that. Let's work on that. I was like, this man is a trip. Melody needs to hear this. I've been through a lot last year. I lost everything, but I didn't lose everything. But I did know. You did. Just tell the truth. You lost everything. For what? Like, literally, for what? Like, ugh. You gotta feel like a fool. I'm hurt. You gotta be hurt. You need to change the view of yourself. It all starts with you. And I don't know what I took from that is probably because it's like you're trying to make everyone else outside of you responsible for the way that you act. And that's like disempowering in itself for you to just be the perpetual victim. It's like, okay, you're just going to render yourself useless if you're always the one who's being victimized, right? You're always the victim. You're not going to take any accountability. You're not going to say, I need to change the view of myself so that I can be received and people can experience me in different ways. It's just like, it starts with you. It's all starts with you. And it's like, I don't know if Martell gets that. I don't know. He was like, you decide, you have to take responsibility and decide what you want to do. It's like, literally, it's like, stop acting like everything outside of yourself is what's making you do what you do. You have to take accountability for what you do, because you're literally giving that power to everybody else if that is why you're doing what you're doing. I hope that makes sense. It really is so disempowering when you always position yourself as the victim. It's like, when do you have some power? Like, where do you fit in here? Like, when do you take your power back? Like literally. So hopefully they got it. I feel like Marsau would have benefited from this meeting. I love the way that Dr. Francis, it was almost as that they were just talking. And the way that he was asking them questions, I really like the way that they were just like having a conversation, and I really hope that we could see another piece of that, because it I felt like it was like a cool conversation, and he was just like letting them sit back like, see, and it's like, I think for, especially for men, they just really need that one person in their group when there's all like yes, 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 but there has to be one person to be like, yo, have y'all ever thought like maybe it's us? It's like, does anybody ever raise their hand amongst men and be like, yeah, maybe it's us? It's like, and it's like when you actually, because they value each other's words so much, when there's one person that speaks in a different verse, it's like they don't know what to do. And Dr. Francis speaks in a different verse, and Marceau speaks another one way, and he doesn't want to hear what that man has to say, because he's going to tell him, I see you for your works, bro. And nobody wants that, especially when they're thriving in that environment, right? So he would have, I feel like he would have benefited from it, but he doesn't feel like he needs anything. So it is what it is. They get to the Destiny race. Martell was late with his mom. He said it was really nice to see the whole family all in one place. Mel finished first. They were making jokes like, they took a different route to success, and everybody has their race to destiny. It was a cute little play on the words or whatever. Marceau and little Martell were running, and it made Martell proud to see how competitive his son is at 8 years old. Wanda was fake hugging Tisha and Marsau. That was odd. They were all standing around, and Tiffany wanted to know, why is it that they always get into arguments when they're together? And Destiny says, well, it's the Martell show. And she says, you have a right to your anger, but when you bring things up, she's going to respond. And she says, and then she like corrects herself, and then she goes, it's like you're passive aggressive. And then he starts talking over her, and then she goes, like she got real loud. I thought it was weird. Like, it was kind of off-putting for me. I don't know how anybody else took that. But then even Martell was like, see, that's why women can't talk to me like that. So I'm trying to figure out, can a man talk to you like that? I'm trying to figure out what he meant by that. You reserve certain behaviors for men, and then you reserve other behaviors for women, but then sometimes you don't. And it's like, I don't understand why he said that. Even though it was off-putting, he says, women can't talk to me like that. So is it just women, or can would you allow a man to be like in your face? Like, what is that about? Like, I don't know. It's like these dudes on this show, and it's like, it's crazy because there are other men that think like them and operate like them, and it is this is really such a really great show, because you see like just the behaviors of people, and how they be, and just like how they navigate through different situations. It's like, it was weird. And then Martell's mother like comes over, right? And she says, this is between them two. You don't even know what we're talking about. See, and this is why he should have said something to his mom. But he made it seem like his mom needed to step in, because he didn't want to raise his voice to Destiny. But you've raised your voice before. You've raised your voice to your ex-wife. You've raised your voice to Melody. So I just didn't, the mom coming over, it was just really strange. It was just so weird, but it was just an example of how men are coddled by their mother. Like she even said earlier, you got another girl pregnant, so what? Like, what do you mean, so what, lady? there's when do you, as like, that's what, you can't even say it. You can't even say as a woman, because it's like, when do you just like, as a person, say what he did was not cool? there's there's no way that she should have ever said, so you got a girl pregnant, so what are you talking about? Like, are you kidding me right now? If Mart if this happens to Martell's daughter, are you going to say, so what? Is that going to be like, are you like, I was just like, okay. Don't get beside yourself, she says, because I am a mother and I'm Martell's mother. Lady, we need to be asking you some questions then. Because why is he like this? Like, what's going on? Maybe you can answer some questions. Since you want to position yourself in a way that nobody can say nothing to you because you're Martell's mother. Well, we have some questions, lady. And clearly you over here like, there's no consequence for this behavior. That's why he tiptoed off when you came over, because he knew, like, your bodyguard. Your bodyguard got you. You weren't even there, Marlene, Miss Marlene, whatever your name is, lady. You were not there. And then what's her name was like, um, well, after all, it was our anniversary, and happy anniversary to y'all. And then everybody started laughing. No, she wasn't even there. And it's like, are y'all afraid to tell the lady that she's not right in this situation while she's over here trying to protect her son? That's my son, and that's my son. Your son is out of order, lady. When is somebody gonna tell him he's out of order? When does that happen? Is that why he acts like this? Because nobody has told him that he's been out of order? Like, then he gonna say, just like my mom said, don't be raising your voice. Don't be talking to me any kind of way. You got your bodyguard here. And then he goes, I'm a grown ass man. Watch how you talk to me. Nigga, you just put your mama as your bodyguard and ran off when it was time to. You should have told your mom, I got this, mom. It's Destiny. We good. It's nothing. You wasn't even there. It's cool. No worries. But you let that happen. But then you say, I'm a grown ass man. That doesn't even make sense. It doesn't make sense. Like, it's crazy. And then Wanda and Marlene are off to the side, and Melody's mom, I can't remember her name right now. So here's Wanda. I just was asking if Mel and Martell would get back together. Honey, Marlene was like, I'm staying in my lane. I don't have nothing to do with that. I don't even want to hear it. Let me tell you how fast she exited, okay? I don't want to have nothing to do with what Wanda got going on. So then after she left, Melody's mom tells Wanda that Melody would never take advice from her. You was on the internet talking about how if something about the hair, getting the kids haircuts or something like that, somebody being jealous of somebody. I don't know what the hell they was talking about. But I do want to add, I want to ask Mel's mom, is she jealous that Wanda has a husband and a boyfriend? Because, girl, you mentioned that like 3 times. Is you jealous, girl? What's the tea? Because I was like, why does she keep mentioning it? Do you really have a problem with that lady if she has a boyfriend and a husband? what you got? Melody was not going to take any advice from you. She was not going to listen to you. Well, didn't you cheat? She said, woman, no, since you want to throw my life up in my face, what was you doing? I said, no, Miss Wanda was letting, because at the same time, as ignorant as it was, let me tell you something. Wanda, it was funny because she said, girl, listen, you want to throw my shit up in my face like I have a husband and a boyfriend. Was you cheating? Well, no, woman, I will. Okay, well, I'm just asking questions like you asking questions. Okay, so it's nothing. I was just asking a question. You see, that's where Tisha got it from. You see, last week when she says, well, are you planning something? She was like, what are you talking about? Well, you wanted to know, was I doing something? I want to know if you was planning something. If you ain't planning nothing, you ain't planning nothing. The apple don't fall too far from the tree, okay? Did y'all notice that? Okay, just want to make sure. I just want to make sure. Then she said, I don't do ghetto. Wanda said, I'm gonna get in your ass. Wanda said, I'm gonna get in your ass. I'm gonna show you what ghetto is, honey. I don't know what she's talking about. Mel's mom, what are you talking about, ghetto? That wig that you had on was ghetto. That wig that Melody's mom had on, baby. No, ma'am. Y'all can't. Why do y'all be having your moms on here looking crazy anyway? So the conversation, she said, this conversation is over. I'm not talking to you. She said, well, walk away like your daughter did. Wanda, girl, you doing the worst. Shake a bone. She told her to shake a bone. She was like, well, I was over here because I was coming to see Martell's mom. She said, well, she's not here anymore, so go ahead and step off. She was like, so Melody finally walked over there. And when Melody walked over there, her mom said that Miss Wanda was getting ghetto at her. Girl, she was getting ghetto at me. And you the one with a husband and a boyfriend. Girl, how many times you gonna mention it? Because I wrote it down every time she mentioned it. Girl, how many times you gonna mention it? You the one with a husband and a boyfriend. I'm just trying to put two and two together. Well, you got it wrong. You got it wrong. She said, you both do. This is when Tisha walked up. Now, Tisha told what was the lady's name? Miss something, because she corrected herself. She called the lady by her name, and then she corrected for herself and put Miss in front of it. And then she like put her hand on her, and her mother was like, "Don't put your hand on me." I thought it was weird for her to do that too. I was like, "What is she doing?" I thought that was so weird that she did that. Like, why did you touch that lady like that? I thought that was weird, y'all. Was I the only one that thought that? I was like, why did she touch her? She didn't need to put her hand on her. I didn't. That was weird. I thought it was weird. And then she said, Tisha was offended because the mother said that it was ghetto. And she was like, well, we both from the country. Don't think you're better than anybody else just because you can enunciate. You were both wrong. That's what she said. Cause that's my daughter, and I will go all the way ham. And then she was like, "Well, see that you can't do that. We're trying to be cool." That was a lot. It was a lot in that span of time. So Wanda said she's 57 years old. She said she's 57 years old, and I love that Melody told her, "Listen, we all have that girl inside of us that we need to control. So that doesn't mean that, well, I am who I am and I'm not going to change." And you see, that's where that mentality comes from. It's like, that's why people don't want you around. That's why people don't want to deal with you. It's because you feel like you are justified in your behavior, and people are not they don't have to accept that. So you can be who you are because you're not going to change. And you've told the world you can be who you are, but you're going to have to be who you are over there by yourself, all alone, talking to yourself, okay? Because we don't have to deal with that. Be who you are over there. That's all we got to do. That's all we got to do. And I love that Melody said that we all have parts of ourselves that we need. It's about self-control. It's all of us can go there. Like, that's literally all of us can go there. All of us. And it's just parts of yourself you just need to control. And you too old to be putting your hands on people. And it's not cute. I'm so glad that Tisha told her mother that. You can't be doing that. She was like, and we represent each other. So you out here trying to fight. She better watch out. Girl, you too old for that. Yeah, you need to learn how to control yourself. And then Tisha says she's not going to invite her around anymore. I'm going to hold out on inviting my mom. And she says, well, if I'm just letting you know when I see the snakes. And she was like, okay, good. Well, you give me the advice and then I'll do what I need to do. But you ain't got to do all of this all the time. This is crazy. Like, literally, I mean, it's funny, like entertaining, but at the same time, it's like, girl, you don't have to argue and fight every time we get together. Martell too, and Melody too. So many people are in the comments like, it's exhausting. It's like, okay, after it's funny, but after a while, it's like, every time y'all together, every time y'all got to get into it, every time nobody has any self-control. Nobody knows how to control themselves. Y'all gonna get crunk every time for the camera, girl. Aren't y'all tired? I mean, that's not tiring. Like, girl, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. You too old to do that. Well, she need to back down, girl. Don't nobody. That's too much. That's too much. What did y'all think of the lady saying that it was ghetto? She was getting ghetto. It's that part that just comes out. I mean, anybody can access that. I'm so glad that Melody said that to her. We all have to do what we have to do to control ourselves. Don't nobody want to. You're too old for that. At some point in your life, you're going to learn some self-control. Learn how to walk away. Learn how to resolve it a different way. Anyways, that was it, y'all. What did y'all think of the episode? Tell me what y'all think. Take care of each other. Protect your energy. Let's get down in the comments. Peace.